All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. All right, so we got two big updates here. JD Vance just went on record on Turning Point, and he went so hard in the paint. He put the world on notice, okay? And I mean, like, I got goosebumps watching this. He talked about how we're going to treat people in American society who behave in certain ways, people who obviously, domestic terrorists and other people that are, essentially kind of guilty after the fact of just being disgusting people who trounce on Charlie Kirk after his death. This speech literally set my hair on fire. I was like, wow, dude. And I'm going to show it to you guys right now. And I am now officially going to change my prediction that Gavin Newsom was going to be the next president in 2028. And now I think it's him, dude. I think it's him. Anyway, so we're going to look at that. But also, the shooter confessed. So pretty big story there. We got a confession from the shooter, and that is going to be the second portion of this video. So everybody go ahead and buckle in, all right? 2 videos on this in one night, but it's just one of those things. This story's not going away anytime soon, nor should it. It's one of the most important things that's happened in my generation's history. And so we're going to keep on reporting on it. We're going to keep on letting the culture develop around the new timeline that we're in, where Charlie Kirk got murdered in front of the world. Okay. And I want to talk about that really quick before we get into the details of the story. I just want to say this. So when what's his name? One of those billionaires who was on Joe Rogan's podcast, who was once a hardcore leftist and then, transitioned and now supports the current administration, so on and so forth. And he was talking about how if Donald Trump would have been killed in Butler and the different timeline that we would be in, he was like, can you imagine? And Joe Rogan's like, can you imagine? It's like, that's the bad place. And I couldn't possibly agree more with that. It's hard to even wrap a brain around what society would be right now if he would have been shot in Butler. And the other part of that is, it hurts me, honestly, to think about the number of people that if you ask them to answer honestly if they wish that he would have been killed, would say yes if no one was going to know about it. I mean, it's honestly crazy. Like, to be really honest, it's crazy how many people would openly say yes. Where you're like, I mean, you say that we're the party of hate, and yet for some reason 30% of you, like, I'm pretty sure openly in that poll, said that they wished that Trump had gotten hit and died. Okay, it's insane. It's insane. It's insane that is even, except like at a dinner party, like if they're at a dinner party, that someone would feel comfortable saying that, and they would, and the other people would not even push back on that. Just think about that. Think about how sick that culture is, and the timeline that we're in now is not one where Charlie Kirk got an attempt on his life, like he was killed, and that everything is going to be different as a result of that, and that's why JD Vance's speech is so right. Like, it's just so on the money, and I can't wait to show it to you. We're going to do that right now. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and let's listen to an American badass.
No unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country. There is no unity.
Boom, son. Okay? Boom. Now, after that speech right there, I'm on the tip like, let me know what I can do to help your campaign in 2028, my guy. I couldn't possibly agree with that approach more. And I didn't even realize I didn't even really think about how much I think that type of leadership is critical in this moment. Because as much as go along to get along in a country, like I understand we have a lot of different ideas. A lot of people have a lot of different competing priorities that we are looking to get pushed to the forefront of our collective country. The challenge with the United States has always been and will always be, it's a lot more land. We got a lot more people. We got a lot more different cultures all in this big mix-mash. And the federal government, it is what it is. It's big, man. Now, probably a mistake, probably should have, kind of kept it small and left states to do their own thing and let the states deal with it. But that's not the government that we have. It's not the system that we have. It is what it is. And so to a certain extent, you have to kind of just accept that we have these differing opinions and we got to go along to get along. But when it comes to this, okay, he's right. There's no fucking unity with people who cheer for the murder of a father and a husband because he had opinions they didn't like. Okay? No unity, no quarter. Okay? I have no sympathy for you getting fired from your job. None. Zero. I'm happy that you're getting fired from your job. I love it, actually. And I said on a podcast that I was a guest on today, if my role in this current whatever we're doing here ended up being the arbiter of pointing at people who deserve to lose their job and then they go and get that job taken from them, I love that. I would revel in that. And I would absolutely never run out of energy. Okay. I have an endless gas tank of energy to destroy the lives of people who are acting like evil psychopath lunatics and spreading that hate all over the place. And the reason that they think that Charlie Kirk deserved to die is because he was spreading hate. What hate was he spreading? Okay. Go find a long form speech of Charlie Kirk's and show it to me where he deserved to die. Okay. I'm not saying they deserve to die. I'm saying you deserve to lose your job. Okay. Bottom line, because when you work for someone else, you represent their brand. Okay. If you said something that the brand was not concerned about having attached to their jacket, you wouldn't lose your job. Okay. It's not that hard. It's really not that hard. All you have to do is just not say repulsive, toxic things that the masses decide you are a bad person for, and they decide I'm never going to shop at that brand ever again if they're signing off on what that person said. Okay? And so if someone goes, listen, I understand people being really upset about Charlie Kirk. I disagreed with him on a lot of things. I mean, it's unfortunate for his family, but it's not something I'm going to be waving a flag over personally. You think you're getting fired for that? I mean, I personally, if it was someone I knew, would be like, hey, why don't you just shut the fuck up about it, though? If you're not going to be waving a flag, how about you just shut your stupid face about it? You could have just stayed quiet, right? You had the option of just staying quiet. You chose to say that. But again, I wouldn't advocate for that person losing their job. Just if I knew him, I would tell him why. Why say anything, But I wouldn't go after their job. But people who are jumping up and down and they're getting their bullhorns and are Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Anyone who expresses gratification with the death of a father who got murdered in front of the world, okay? You're done as far as I'm concerned. I will happily rip your financial life apart, okay? And if anybody has been following my channel for a very long time, you know the gravity of me saying that, because that is my number one thing that I will never sign off on normally is attacking people's livelihoods. It's I've gone through it. I've been on the top and I've lost everything in circumstances that were, essentially I was a victim in many ways of looking at what happened to me, a victim. And I would never wish it on anyone else unless they fucking earn it, dude. And this cannot be tolerated in our society. Well, I'm done with it. Everybody's done with it. Okay. These people did this to us or did this to the other side for years, a decade. And what they would do, they go look back through a person's Twitter and they're like, oh, this guy made a joke about if their son was gay, they would throw a dollhouse at him. Oh, it's a comedian and it was a joke. Oh, we don't care. Just kick him off the fucking Oscars. Okay. Do you really think that that is comparable to what we're doing? A guy gets violently murdered in front of the world and then you laughed about it and said, haha, I'm glad he's dead. You think that's the same thing, you stupid fuck? Okay. Anyway, so that's that. And I, again, will revel in the loss of jobs from anyone who behaves that way. Okay. Or like you go on, like I personally, I've only actually myself reached out to a brand once. And I did it when that guy made that TikTok about the 30 dead babies in the Texas flood. That piece of shit that said that they deserved it because their parents are Christian in Texas or whatever. And I hit that guy, like I looked up where he worked and I hit that guy's work up and they were like, we don't sign off on this at all. We fired that piece of shit 2 years ago. And I was like, all right. So I haven't been directly involved in actually, but I have actually reached out myself to try to bury a guy, and that was on that case. Dead little girls. And you hate, and you say it's a good thing because they lived in Texas and were probably Republican, you fucking psychos. Okay? The scum of the earth. The scum of the earth. Even if you go, like literally, you go to like, this fantasy land where there's so much KKK around or whatever, right? Like let's say you find the tiny little pocket of KKK that actually exists, right? And you brought like 30 little black daughters there and something. Do you think that the KKK is like, you're worse than the KKK? The KKK is not even going to attack 36-year-old black girls. You fucking psychos. So yeah. I am glad that JD Vance put that out and let everybody know because I am with that, dude. There's no unity, right? No, not with them, dude. Okay? We could disagree on all kinds of stuff. Not on that, dude. The people who cheered at TMZ should be homeless and on the street. Or jobless. Jobless and on the street with a resume in hand that literally has a scarlet letter like tattooed on it. It's like, we're the ones who cheered when Charlie Kirk was dead, got announced dead. Okay, so also the shooter and his freaks, like all his little trans freaks, he confessed on Discord. So there's that, right? I'm sorry for all this. Charlie Kirk's suspected assassin reportedly confessed in a group chat after the shooting. And we went over earlier that the FBI, in my previous video that I posted today, the FBI cracked his trans boyfriend, girlfriend, roommate, whatever, under questioning. And he knew that this was coming because the guy had written a death note to Charlie Kirk that he was destroyed, but they found some kind of evidence of it. And then the guy cracked under questioning and admitted that he knew about the death note and that he knew what was coming. I mean, obviously he knew, okay? The shooter called him right after and asked him to go pick up the rifle. When the governor was talking about that guy, he was like, yeah, he's a brave young, he's a great young man. It seems like he didn't know anything about it. I'm like, why are you saying? Of course he knew about it. And like, listen, I got no beef with the Utah governor. He seems like a really nice man, but like, I just didn't understand why he believed this kid. I was like, he's his trans roommate. The kid's a trans radical who wrote Catch This Fascist. And he called him to go pick up the rifle. What on earth? Like, why would you believe that he didn't know about it? Especially after we found out from the people who live in the apartment complex that they had a bunch of out-of-state people coming in and out who had bad vibes. Like, who do you think those people were? And then you got the guy there cheering, and then you got the guy there who, mysteriously asked this question. It's an organized Trantifa hit, dude. Okay? And the kid's trans and lives in the house. Like, of course he knew. Anyway, the 22-year-old man suspected the fatal shooting in Charlie Kirk confessed to friends in a group chat that he had killed the prominent right-wing activist hours before authorities said he was taken into custody. He said, quote, "Hey guys, I have bad news for you all. It was me at UVU yesterday. I'm sorry for all of this." Read a message from the man identified as the suspected shooter, Tyler Robinson, on the online platform Discord. Two people familiar with the chat told Washington Post. Oh, well, hopefully we get the records of the rest of the Discord. Because guess what? These guys were talking somewhere, right? Like there's somewhere where these guys were talking. Hey, and by the way, I can't believe I'm going to say these words, but thank God for the Patriot Act, okay? Because you guys might have been talking in your like Signal group and you thought you had encrypted phones or whatever. Good luck with that, man. Do you know what the Patriot Act says? Okay. If you said it on a phone, they're going to get it. Okay. They're going to get it. Now, maybe they're smart enough to have been using burners. I can't believe I'm even using the word smart in the same sentence as these dimwit retards that did this. But, you know, if someone at one point, you know, recommended using burners, then maybe. But they already cracked the roommate, you know. Roommate's already talking. So, I don't know, man. I wonder if the roommate's going to be able to identify who the co-conspirators are. You know what I mean? Screenshots were provided to the Post by a member of the group chat, also confirmed Robinson had confessed to the shooting. Discord also provided a copy of the message to authorities and told the Post that it is providing the FBI and local authorities with information about Robinson's online activities to help their investigation. After a 33-hour-long manhunt, Robinson was arrested and accused. Okay, we already know all this. Yeah, so bottom line, he is cooked. He's cooked. Okay, wait, hang on. Then he also said, oh, sorry, there's more of this. He said, quote, I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments, the message said. Thanks for all the good times and laughs. You've all been so amazing. Thanks for everything. What a fucking idiot, dude. What an absolute idiot. What an absolute idiot. Hey, guys. Guess what? You know, I'm really sorry for involving you guys in this, but it was me that murdered Charlie Kirk yesterday. You know, sorry about that. Thanks for all the laughs. I'm going to go to Supermax for life now. Okay. Like this is the level of delusion these guys lived under. Okay. Like this guy's like, oh, I'm going to I'm surrendering through a sheriff friend in a few moments. It's like, oh yeah, your friend going to take care of you? Your friend going to take care of you? Okay. Hey, do you know where the Boston bomber kid is doing time? Why don't you look that up, dude? Because he was a dumb little 19-year-old student also, right? Pretty similar to you. Texted a little devil horns to his friends after someone was all, hey, man, that looked like you in the Boston bombing video. He texted like devil horns to them. Sound familiar? Why don't you look up where he's doing time, idiot? Like literally, they're in outer space. Okay, they are in a different world. This is like deep dark web culture. This is the end game. This is the end result of all of this. Okay, there's no response in the message thread until the following morning when one friend wrote that the apparent confession appeared to be true. That the friend asked the group to pray for Tyler and his repentance. While Charlie Kirk's politics were not acceptable to some, I asked that we all say a prayer for him and his family during these confusing times. The friend added. I like him, dude. I like him because he's either genuine or at least smart enough to be like, this is going to end up with the FBI, and I want to make sure that I separate myself from this fucking idiot, you know? The authorities are planning to file capital murder charges against Robinson in the killing, and they'll come as soon as Tuesday. They're saying he's not cooperating with law enforcement and that he may have been radicalized online, ammunition in the gun, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he's not talking because he got strict instructions from the Trantifa handlers to never talk to the government, right? Like he's not cooperating because that is what he was told to do. Also, his parents are like have money. They probably got him an attorney. You know, it's like, yeah, hey, they're all Republicans. They're all like conservative. They're probably, I mean, based on my experiences in Utah, I lived there for a year. They're probably an incredible family and they just lost one, dude. It's really tragic for them. But I would imagine they probably are like, the least we could do is get him an attorney. And the attorney's like, don't talk about anything, you know? Or maybe it's like, because I was just thinking like, oh, the Trantiva people said not to talk about anything, but you're going online and making public statements. Yeah, I was throwing up my arms and cheering because I wanted to distract the shooter so I could save lives. And then like, everyone's all, we don't believe you. He's all, I am sick and tired of my soldiers dying because people are mocking us. It's like, oh, hey, just take the mask off all the way, guy. Don't worry. You're not going to be on the top of the FBI's fucking terror watch list if by some stroke of luck you somehow don't go down for this one, okay? Which would be insane because he is in on this. Like, that guy did this. I would bet my life on it. I don't know, not that they, I doubt they're like in the whatever. Anyway, so that's that. Love you guys. Subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. Bye-bye.